Hey everyone, I am back and now we're going to start with the tutorial. Now, as a start, I want you guys to open up the NXT-G, which I already have done here. And I want you guys to just create a new program. If you want to follow along with me, go ahead. If you just want to learn, go ahead. But you're going to have these two options and create new program and open recent program. So recent program is what you have saved, what you have recently downloaded. Yes, you can do that. And if you press go, you get that program. For the sake of this tutorial, we're just gonna create a new program, and because I'm just a really uncreative person, so we're just gonna name it Untitled 1. So let's open up our program named Untitled 1. Alright, so we're gonna press go. We're gonna have this workspace. NXT-G is gonna give us this workspace, and this is where we're gonna do our programming, our drop and pick up and drop type programming. Now, we're gonna start with this move block up here. It's this block with the double gear, so we're gonna grab that. We're gonna drag that. We're gonna place that right here, and once we do, we're gonna get a list of options right here. That's right, right here. And you're gonna realize that you can manipulate this block in many different ways. Now, this is pretty straightforward. The port A, B, C. We'll just go on port A, B, C since let's go through 1 through 4, so that's pretty straightforward. What people what you can also do is, if you have two motors selected, you can choose to steer. So maybe I want to pivot towards C, pivot toward B, maybe somewhere in the middle, or maybe I just want it to go straight. Do you realize that if you have 3 or 2 motors, the steering's not gonna work, because if you need to steer, you need 2 motors. No car steers with 3. Sorry guys. Here's the direction, which means that it's gonna move forward, backward, or gonna stop. So you can make the stop function go when you realize that A, B, and C may be moving more than you expected or something, and then you could just stop right there. Okay, I'm gonna move to power. So the power is how much energy your motor is gonna output. So if it's 100%, you're gonna go full nitro. If you go to 0, it's not gonna move at all. What you can also do here is, if you want to get a more precise value for say 21, if I enter that, it's automatically gonna move that size. So maybe through some trial and error, you can find the right amount of power for your robot to go. Now, okay, great, we can have the motors running, but how long do we want it to run for? Well, that's what this duration here is for. So as you can see, it goes 1 full rotation, you can go degrees, and I can type something here, 720 just for 2 rotations. And do you realize that if you do type the amount of degrees there, you actually get the rotations there. So transfers over. Let me do that again. So let me make that 1 rotation. Let's go over back to degrees. It makes it 360 again. Here is seconds. So I can make this 5 seconds. Let's make it run for 10 seconds. However much you want it. Just put 5 right there. And last but not least, there is unlimited, which means this whatever motor you selected is gonna run forever at the power you assign. So I'm just gonna put it back to 50 right here. Okay, here's a thing you gotta learn about the difference between seconds and rotations. Now, let's say your robot is jammed for whatever reason. Maybe you're doing a competition and it gets stuck somewhere. If you do rotations, the robot is not gonna stop unless the motor detects 5 rotations, which means the robot's just gonna keep trying to power on through that jam until it reaches 5 locations. However, if it's for 5 seconds and the robot's jammed for 5 seconds, the motors are just going to stop because the program said just run the motors for 5 seconds. So you might, there are reasons why you might want to use rotations and why you might want to use seconds. Unlimited, there's a case with unlimited. I will go over that, but for say, we're just gonna have it just go rotations if you wanted to. Next action is brake, or you have 2 options, brake or coast. So I'm gonna explain this to you real quick. Let's grab another move block. Let's plop that down right there. Come on, baby, work for me. Come on, come on. There we go. Oh no, still lagging. Okay, there we go. Okay, now the brake and coast, what they do is, it's kind of like what the robot's gonna do in order to transition. So if I were to put brake, let me turn it back to B and C. Maybe just spice things up, make this turn. Okay, so what's gonna happen here is that after B and C has ran for 5 locations, it's gonna brake for a second. It's gonna go It's going to go for 5 rotation, kind of stop for like a split second, and then do the next action. What the coast is going to do is, once it receives 5 locations, it's immediately going to CMB. So it's kind of like a smoother movement, I would say. What I realized that break takes more energy. It takes more battery to do the break rather than the coast. So I just prefer coast. I guess it's personal or situational. It depends on how you want it. So I don't know, if I were to put a bunch of these together, I'll probably make the robot run in a square. Just one last thing. It's a small concept, but I just want to go over it real quick. This is the record and play block. And what this will do is, let's say your robot was moving in a certain direction and then you wanted to move that direction again. Well, what you could do is you can record its movements for how many duration of time you want. So let's go back, look at the options down here, and you see we have a record, we have play, we have the name, we have recording, and we have time. Now this is by second, so if I were to activate this block, it's going to record the movements for about 30 seconds. And here is exactly what motors you want to record. So in this case, we are gonna want to do C and B. And here is where you put the name. And now, if you want to record and you want to play it again, let's say I had, I don't know, something going on over here, something weird going on over there, and I just want to play it again. Now, if I wanted to play it, I just have to click this button right here and it will do it for me. One thing you have to realize is that this name has to be exactly the same as this name. So if I have robot action here, I have to have robot action here. If I have the name NXT-G here, I have to have the word NXT-G here. I don't see this record and play block used very frequently. I can only think of a couple ways, but I have not seen it used in competitions or conventional ways. So yeah, so move block, basically moving the motors. You have to manipulate it however you want, can control multiple times. Record and play records your motor's movements. Not very commonly used. Oh, I also forgot to mention, the recording is not necessarily the most precise thing you'll ever have in this entire world, so just be careful with that. You're not going to have the exact measurements. Alright, well that's about it. Next off, I'm going to be going over the next box on the common palette, and I'll be seeing you there. Thank you guys.